Ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, please put your hands together for Joe Bergman!
I am a god.
Don't worry, I know what you're thinking. Yes, my mum is a cunt. Well, if that's rough, the next 45 minutes are going to be very interesting. Hello, welcome to Joe Berkwood, Mama, We All Go to Hell. This is a comedy show that I've been working on for money. Mainly, let's be honest, I'm not. Or at least how it's going at the minute, I'm really not. But I'm going to try. I've been doing it for about a year now, and I'm filming it, so if you could laugh, even if it's not funny, that would be really helpful for the video that's over there. So essentially, thank you. So essentially, this show is about the fact that my mum's a bit shit. We're going to go through that. Don't worry, it's not really depressing. My wife was like, oh, for fuck's sake, another depressing comedy show. But that is my bread and butter, and you're going to find that out. So the reason I wrote this show is because I wanted to do a show about her, but then I thought she doesn't deserve an hour comedy show. So instead I realised that I outsourced motherhood. Because mine's so shit, I decided to get 6 other ones instead. So I got my stepmom, my auntie, my cousin, my wife, my mother-in-law, and a woman living in Zambia. Genuinely true, we'll get to that later. But essentially, like when I first thought of this show, I thought, can I do it? Can I do a show about my shit mum? And I thought, what if she sees like a poster about her and then she comes to see it? That would be really awkward, wouldn't it? So all the way from hell, no, I'm joking, she isn't here. But what convinced me to do it was essentially just over a year ago, my granddad died and none of them told me. So I thought, fuck him. Genuinely true. My grandma messaged me on Facebook a month after he died, so way after the funeral, and said, just so you're aware, Granddad's dead. That's not how you use that phrase. That phrase is for, just so you're aware, the fridge is broken. Just so you're aware, the code for the safe is 3912. Not just so you're aware, 9/11. My favourite part of that joke is I did that joke on 9/11, which was really fun. It definitely didn't backfire. Essentially I thought, fuck him. So I probably should give context, because everyone thinks they've got a shit mum, but I don't want to go into the details of why, so I'm just going to tell you some of the bits that I can legally tell you. So things like even from a young age, right, my grandma once told me a story about her, just to kind of she was being shit, as usual, and she was like, well, she's always been like this. At 7, she asked for a keyboard for Christmas, like piano style, and that's one of the styles. The other is for a computer. It came to Christmas morning. I'm from Homewood, which normally I do these gigs in Leeds and Leicester, and no one knows what Homewood is, but you'll know what I mean. I grew up in Homewood, and I said the wrong place. It's Buttershaw. I clearly just thought, what's a shit part of Bradford? And that just came up. No, in Buttershaw, you know Rita Sue and Bob 2? the big block of flats, that was my first home, claim to fame. Ironically, not the 4 years of stand-up I've done. Which tells you how good tonight's going to be. But yeah, so essentially, they had to scrimp and save for this keyboard. She really wanted it, so it made sense. And it got to Christmas morning, she opened it and she was like, oh, cool. Did I get any Christmas money? And they went, no. We bought like everyone chipped in, we bought a keyboard. And they went, what? Sharon, fuck it, I'm going to name her. Why do you want Christmas money? To buy a better keyboard. That was 7. Imagine her with children. So essentially, when I was a teenager, she decided to fuck some other guy. And they told us on the New Year's Day of millennium. So yes, the world didn't collapse from computers, but mine did from vaginas. Yeah, it was horrible. And 2 weeks later, my stepdad moved in, which was lovely. And then when I was a teenager, I got taken, she took me to the doctors because she thought I had an eating disorder because I was getting hungry after giving me this same portion as my 7-year-old stepson, and he wasn't eating massive portions, he was eating what a 7-year-old should eat. So she took me to the doctor and said, I think he's got an eating disorder, and unfortunately my doctor had to diagnose me with being 14. And I mean, joke's on her, I now do have an eating disorder, so fuck her. Yeah, like even to the point of they locked the kitchen door because I'd sneak bread. They'd even buy Warburtons for themselves and put it on the top shelf, and then buy Tesco value for us and leave it where I could reach it. As you can tell, I'm a T-Rex, so they didn't have to put it very high. But I thought that was bad, but I mean now, I think it's good because even though I can't afford Warburton's bread, if I could, I would buy myself it, and that would be a lovely treat, wouldn't it? Because of what she did. But essentially they would lock the kitchen door. I've never known, has anyone else had a kitchen door on a Yale lock?
No.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But what they would do is on a weekend, they would lock the door in the night and they would leave a tray of food outside the kitchen door. Like a toaster and 2 slices of bread and a little thing of butter on the floor so that they didn't have to get up to feed us. And it was like the world's shittest Airbnb. It was like and my favourite thing about it, to be fair, is that I thought this was normal, and then I met my wife, who had a normal childhood, and she was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not normal. And like, even just like tiny slights about me, like, I was getting ready to go to school, and she said, remember, here's the only piece of advice she's ever given me, other than go in the army. If anyone who's ever met me, that is the worst idea. Thankfully, ironically, I was turned away from the army because she'd forced me to go to therapy as a child. And if I'd been to therapy within 12 months, I wasn't legally allowed to join the army because I was mentally unwell. I mean, they were fair, but she was like, remember, don't go for the good-looking girls because you're not a looker yourself. Which she's right, but that's brutal. That was primary school. Imagine saying that to a 10-year-old. I'm a TA now, and I really wish I could say that to a 10-year-old. So that's what I've realised as well is writing this show. It's really difficult to write shows without conflict, without comedy, without conflict is shit, basically, because who wants to see someone just go talk about how wonderful their life is? So and the problem with this show is, this is a show about how much I love all of these women. I surround myself with powerful women to help me, guide me through, and basically if it wasn't for them, I would not be alive now. But that's not very funny. So I've had to think of like the things that I don't like about them. And sometimes it might be very picky, but just go with it. So the first one is my stepmom. She was easily the first person that my dad married after my mum. And that's how that works. And she's weird, like, because me and my dad look exactly the same. And once she saw me in the bathroom, and I had a t-shirt on that had like writing on it. That's what letters are. Writing on it, and she went. And I genuinely thought she was checking me out. And she was just reading my t-shirt. I was like, I know I'm a younger model, but I'm fucking 16. Like, Jesus Christ. But the only thing that I can say about her, really, but it does make me really angry. And there isn't always people that agree with me on this, so I really hope at least one person agrees with me on this, because it's really... she makes lasagna wrong. So you laugh, but then there's some rooms where everyone agrees with me and it's diabolical. She doesn't put bechamel in it.
Why?
Exactly. For those uncultured swine, bechamel is the white sauce, which basically means it's not lasagna. It's flat spaghetti bolognese. Which that's not even a joke, that's true. It really angers me. And like I just, as a comedian, all I can think of is all of the different things that she must love that are flat. Like she's recently sold her house to buy a flat. Her favourite one-hit wonder in the 90s. Flat Eric. This works in, but better in older rooms. Like she only buys furniture from IKEA. My favourite bit about that is the pause. She likes meatballs on it. Yeah, it's a fun pack. Just in case anyone didn't. It's the worst thing about it, to be honest, is that my cousin David, he came around our house once, and she went, "David, I'm making lasagna." He was like, "Yes!" And I had to pull him to one side and go, "Mate, it's not." And then he made a joke about the fact that, because she said, "Do you like it?" And he said, "I prefer Asda." And for 20 years, she's believed that was a joke. Until at Christmas this year, I bought her a lasagna dish. And I had to tell her that I was doing this show. And she's not spoken to me since. The second mum that I had was my auntie, who really is my mum. Like, she's been there throughout everything. But she doesn't swear. That's it. No, she's got a rule where if you say it, if she hears you say it. No, that's wrong. If she hears you say it, no. No. If she says it, then you can say it. There we go. Yeah. If she says it, you can say it. So our entire childhood was just spent trying to get her to swear by accident. So we often holidayed in Penistone. We took one trip to Suffolk. Suffolk. But she refuses to go to Scunthorpe. Yeah, to be fair, there may be other reasons. But, like, the biggest thing was that she's a massive clean freak, and I'm me. Like, it's okay, I have multiple diagnoses. I found out recently. It is. She was part of the diagnosis process, to be fair, and when I asked her if she thought I was autistic and ADHD, she went, "Well, you were obviously a weird kid." I thought everyone knew. But at 17, I thought I didn't know how to use a toilet brush. I thought a toilet brush was a plunger. Yeah, so I'd had quite a big one, shall we say. And I thought, right, what do I need to do? So I got the toilet brush and I was stabbing at it and eventually broke it up enough to flush. Sorted. Back in the hospital. Yeah, unfortunately, you have more foresight than me. I found out because she went to clean the bathroom once and brandished it like an Excalibur of excellence, turning our lovely green bathroom into mint chopped chip. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. She's a lovely woman. The third one is my cousin. Now, again, she was also a clean freak, and I moved in because, unfortunately, I'd left a relationship very suddenly because she broke up with me. And, and I needed somewhere to live. And she took me in, and I washed up once. I mean, I'm going to say, people do usually avoid, but I went to dry the washing up, and she was like, "No! Don't use them tea towels. Those tea towels are for show." Have you heard of show tea towels?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, the next 10 minutes is going to bomb. But, right, that has ruined the next 5 minutes.
I've not heard of shirty towels.
But someone has. Especially, let me just mention, is it a lady? Yes.
You wait till they die and you use their show tea towels for day-to-day use.
Great idea. Essentially, what was going to happen there was a very Stuart Lee bit, but shit. Where I was going to get really angry about show tea towels and go absolutely crazy. But I don't feel like it now. and that was going to end. I was going to be like frothing at the mouth, show tea for ages, right? And then I was going to say, women are crazy. But without that bit, I just look like a misogynist. So actually, you're the sexist. So my wife, my wife's lovely. She is very aware that she's my mum. And I thought, like, the issue is I don't really have a bad to say about her. So I thought what I'd do is something really easy, which is musical comedy. Which, that joke kills in a room of comedians because it's very difficult. But I thought, so what I was going to do is I was going to write a lovely song to dedicate to her. But then I forgot. So if you could just imagine a really funny song about my wife, that would be really helpful. Woo! So instead, we're going to play a game.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some music, and you're going to guess what the song is. Easy. We'll start easy. See if you can guess what this is. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Shit. Sorry, that's in the wrong key. 1 second. There we go. What is it?
Carry on my way.
Yeah! Muso! Let's try this one. That's the song Rooftops. Basically, because this is stand-up comedy, I thought it'd be appropriate to honour registered sex offenders, because a lot of them are. That's you know Ian Watkins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the band that he was in. Do you think when that all happened that the band was financially impacted by that? Because that's quite a big thing. Like, did they have lost profits? Yeah, it wasn't worth it. Right. We're going to do them properly now. You're going to have to actually guess. Guess! 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 Guess!
Metallica!
No!
Okay!
Guess!
Let it go!
Guess! No! What? No! No! What? Oasis? No! I wouldn't even play that shit silently! I'm being a bit mean, that was an original. Oh. Oh. So they say true comedy is brave. Not as brave as this, though. I should say I'm lactose intolerant. My wife did once say, actually, what if you actually shit yourself there? It's never happened before, but maybe tonight's the night. Just to prove how brave this was, I actually, because my mum used to shout, "Get down! Get down! Get down!" when I was a child. I didn't actually climb on a chair until I was 18. Which, unrelated note, was the first time I ever saw a mouse. Speaking of bravery, my mother-in-law. So, my mother-in-law, Wendy, with one word, is the loveliest woman I've ever met in my entire life. I should clarify, I'm not trying to fuck her. My wife thinks I am, because we sometimes text. That's it. like, you up? I've never texted her. The issue with writing comedy about the most lovely woman in the world is I'm fucking terrified that she's gonna hate it. So I have to. The only way I could do it was basically to write really nice jokes about her. So why did my mother-in-law cross the road to get to the other side? How do you catch my mother-in-law, climb a tree and act like a nut? I told my mother-in-law to embrace her mistakes, so she hugged me. Why don't eggs tell jokes? My mother-in-law. What do you get if you cross a snowman with a six-pack? My mother-in-law. What did my mother-in-law say to the other plate? Dinner is on me. My mother-in-law walked into a bar. Oh! What's 90 degrees but covered with ice? My mother-in-law. Why did the football coach go to the bank? My mother-in-law. Which vegetable has the best kung fu? It says carrots. Because you chop them. So finally, I'm going to talk about the African lady in Zambia, which is a true story. When I was at university, I had already done all of the drugs, which, if you're not sure about that, go and see my YouTube video with my hour-long show, I Should Be Dead. I can't remember the title of my own show. I Should Be Dead, How Drugs Saved My Life. I did all of them, I guarantee it. And when I got to university, I'd basically already done all of the rebelling before. So I became a born-again Christian, as you do. My next show is about that, called Ex-Vangelical. Please come and see that. But during that time, I'd signed up for halls. I didn't really have a family. I wasn't speaking to my auntie at the time, or my cousin or anyone, because of the shit. And the shit that... and it meant that I'd not realised that my tenancy agreement from the university was September until July, and then I'd signed an agreement with a house from September, but I still had need to live somewhere between July and September, and I hadn't thought about that until June. So there's a family from Zambia live at my church because Mama, which is why this show is called Mama, I still call her Mama, adopted me basically and said, come and live in our house, we have a spare room, but you are part of the family, this is not a hotel, which means I got the full length African punishment. And it is fucking serious. One of the kids at school the other day, one of the year sixes, as they were walking past me, I was telling them off as usual. And one of them kissed their teeth at me, and I genuinely went into a full-blown PTSD rage because Mama kissing her teeth at me is terrifying. But the thing about living in an African family, right, is like it's amazing, but Mr. John, that is really inappropriate. So the thing with living in an African family, right, is there are lots of things that you take for granted, like food. Like I refused to eat the tripe and fish head stew that Mama had made, but unfortunately. So she said to God, obviously, don't worry, I'm not going to do the accent. People get really worried about that. Even though she has given me permission, but I have respect, so I won't be doing that. And don't worry, I definitely won't be doing the accent. Do you think you're Stuart Lee? It doesn't matter how many times you do it, it won't be funny. As I found out in front of a mainly black audience on Wednesday. But so we were sat at the table and she looked up and she said, God, I already have 3 children that do not listen to me. Why have you sent me a 4th? And also the biggest insult I've ever received in my entire life. I had put on some weight since I started university, not as much as I have now, but enough. And I still thought I could pull off skinny jeans. So I bought the biggest pair of skinny jeans you could buy from H&M. Literally poured myself into them for Sunday morning church. Walked in and Mama looked at me and went, son, you look like a chicken. Which in an African accent, that's even funnier. Just thinking, don't say it. From experience. And it was amazing to be part of this family. I miss them so much. They moved back to Zambia pretty much straight after I was at university because Mama had got her degree and then therefore her visa wasn't valid anymore, so they had to move back to Zambia. I was invited to my sister's wedding. I couldn't afford it because it was £700 just for the flight, but I would have loved to have gone. But when I was living there, a big thing in African families is the punishment. And my brothers and sisters had to stand for literally hours with their hands above their head in the corner of a room because they disrespected Mama. I didn't have that punishment. What I had was, you have to make nshima, which is a product basically that you'd have with every meal. It looks like mashed potatoes, but if mashed potatoes was hard. And it's fucking delicious. It's maize meal that you boil in water and you mix it for long enough and eventually it hardens, but it takes forever. And when you're making it for 10 people, because we've got me, Sanku, Mwalwa, Kangwa, Mama, Papa, like family, 2 family friends usually. One with my favourite name ever, Pelala or Desanya. That's fucking incredible. Like every day I'd see, I'd go Pelala or Desanya. She was like, it's lovely to say. But like you're cooking for 10 people and you've got the pot that's this big. Sanku, who was the skinniest woman I've ever seen in my entire life, was able to throw this pot around the kitchen. And the first day that Mama said, "You're making enshima tonight," they all went, "Can we watch?" And I hadn't realised at that moment how fucked I was. It's fucking hard. Like literally, you're for hours just stirring this thing. And they would just sit at the table going, "White man." I said I wasn't going to do the accent. But you can't say that without the accent. Yeah, so the thing about this show is, yes, it's hopefully very funny, but there is a real thing to it that I did have a very shit mum, and yes, fair enough. I wasn't nonced. I clarified earlier that she didn't even find me physically attractive, but it still meant that I had quite a lot of stuff to deal with growing up. So I would like to read a prepared statement. So, everyone, I have some news. I am actually pregnant. I know it may come as a shock, but it is a procedure I have been involved in for some time now. People may be thinking that I finally took the advice I get given regularly and have actually gone and fucked myself. But they would be wrong. This is something that has been requested/demanded by the adoption agency that I'm with. Yeah, I made the tough decision to go to an adoption agency, as I felt like the next natural step would be to become my own mother. Mine was never there. Yes, I have outsourced motherhood quite well with my stepmom, auntie, cousin, wife, mother-in-law, and the African woman living in Zambia, but they're not my mum. You only get one. And mine blew it. She made me realise that I can only truly rely on myself. There has been many times that I needed her, and not only was she not there, but she was actively against me. So I started my journey to become my own mother. It's a long process, especially as the adoption agency I started with said I can't adopt myself, so I need to give birth to myself first, and then I can adopt them. So this is why I'm in the hospital now. That's where I am at the minute. Any minute now, I will birth myself, and then finally become the mother I always needed. Pregnancy is as such of a ball ache as women say it. I feel fat all the time. Constantly craving weird food. It's true too, babies do love milk. I can feel mine kick every time I eat dairy. They did talk to me about potential complications. The baby facing the wrong way. The umbilical cord being wrapped around its neck. The unholy act triggering the unborn baby to be birthed into the world as the spawn of Satan, signalling the end of humanity. Me purring in front of a doctor. That one's real, actually. I am understandably nervous, though. What if I don't like me? I don't have a great track record with liking myself. 2 whole shows that openly talk about suicide, and now I have to actually look after myself. The only solace I take from it is I know I will do better than my mum did with me. I don't go to therapy because I do stand-up, which is therapy for poor people. When your mum tells you you won't amount to anything, I can imagine the temptation will be strong to let that be true. What's the point? However, I'm not great at doing as I'm told. So even though she said to go into the army, you won't pass your A-levels. So I passed my A-levels, degree, even got a distinction at master's level, have directed critically acclaimed plays, won awards for acting, written and performed 2-hour-long stand-up shows, being awarded nominated for my debut, writing a third hour in less than 3 years of stand-up comedian, and a fourth hour in less than 5, won awards for acting, I've done that one, getting married to the love of my life and doing my absolute best for my stepdaughter. Maybe, just maybe, I don't have to give a fuck what you think. I never needed you. Maybe God or Jesus or the flying spaghetti monster knew you'd only drag me down. So they had to make sure I cut you out, like a tumour. You didn't deserve an hour show dedicated to you, but I didn't do it for you. I never did. Oh, fuck! I think my walls just broke.
You call me drunk in your bed, driving home.
I am pushing, I haven't got a vagina! Wait a second. Yeah, I am now. Oh! No! No! Don't kill him! No! Oh no, I was right! He's the spawn of Satan! This was a mistake!